The Prime Minister, in her wisdom, asked for a number of town hall meetings, particularly in areas where we saw that the data relating to child abuse was at a spike.
Using the data to direct their focus, the Youth and Culture Ministry zeroed in on Frankfield, Clarendon for the first in a series of town hall meetings on children's issues. At the Edwin Allen High School, government connected with parents, teachers, students, and the community at large.
We're here to have an open, honest, and courageous conversation with you, especially to our students, so that you're well aware of what is happening.
Listen to the voices, crying to be free. Can we be the promise that we promised to be?
Driving rain did not douse the interest of Frankfield residents who came out in their numbers to engage in constructive dialogue for the protection of the nation's children. They were updated on what government is already doing, which includes a budget of $89 billion being spent across 8 ministries for children and youth programs and projects.
We are committed to putting the resources not only to development of our young people and children, but also to protection.
And that protection depends largely on what's happening in communities across the island.
Children are suffering because of the violence that is taking place here in Frankfield. The protection of our children starts from home. Parents cannot allow the children to be in charge. You can have a child who is 11 years old are on the road until 11, 12 o'clock in the night, and parents is in bed. I believe that all of us, every single one of us, political leaders, church leaders, students, media, the security force, all of us have to get together to protect our children.
We don't find communities degenerate overnight. They start tolerating certain things, and gradually more and more dysfunctional behavior creep in. You have to draw the line. You have to have a zero tolerance. If you don't care about the adults, I beg you, for the children's sake, every community where there are illegal guns, your children end up paying the price.
Beyond the bigger issues that put children at risk, the community learned that government had made it easier to report child abuse. The police, the Office of the Children's Registry, the Child Development Agency, and the Office of the Children's Advocate are all able to receive reports. The gathering also got an update on how the courts would be dealing with child abuse cases, the plan to give longer sentences and hit child abusers with bigger fines.
If the crime is one that carries a maximum sentence of 10 years or more, it will allow an additional 10 years to be added if the victim is a child. If the crime is one that carries a maximum sentence of less than 10 years, then the court can increase it by 50% over what it would otherwise have been. Similarly, if there's a fine involved, the fine can be increased by up to 50%.
On the matter of parental abuse and neglect, Justice Minister Mark Golding said in addition to the fines and sentences, the courts would be targeting parents with mandatory parenting classes. Meanwhile, child abuse cases that go before the courts are to be given priority and heard quickly. Once the floor was open for questions, community members, parents, and students took the opportunity to get answers.
How do you go about speaking out for someone in the sense that you can indeed make reports saying that, yes, something has happened to this person. However, when this person is being asked what is going on, they deny the allegations in an effort to shield their parents or whoever is giving the abuse.
Let me assure you that there are experts in the field who are specially trained. They have training in psychology, in social work. They're very experienced and discreet.
Your question reflects what is at the heart of a lot of the investigations that we do. Because what we're seeing is that the people who abuse children are really people who know them. But the key is, as a student particularly who may be faced with this kind of issue in your school, to encourage them to talk to even one person. So the system may be slow, but it can be sure if we have cooperation from persons.
I am concerned that coming out of the legislations, what programs are we actually going to be seeing put in place? I am suggesting that the sanctions, so to speak, that are put in place, that should be something that is requisite right across the board. Something that we could probably implement through schools, where there are seminars that are held at schools right across the island to improve the parenting skills.
We're setting up parenting places in schools. We started with primary schools. We have about 120, 130 of those places in primary schools. And the intention is for us to give parents workshops and seminars about parenting, knowing what they should do, what they shouldn't do, what the rights of the children are, what their rights are as parents, where they can go for help, and so on and so forth.
Mrs. Foster Allen also revealed that through the National Education Inspectorate, students get a chance to give their opinions on what's happening in their schools, which can include reports of abuse. Some 90,000 responses have been collected and are now being reviewed.
Please say something, whether you do it in writing, anonymously, or you find somebody you can confide in, or you make a phone call, but do it. Be empowered.
Recently, I read a release from the Ministry of Education stating that to lock out a child for lateness and dress code is against international human rights laws, etc. How do you deal with that child inside?
We perhaps need to think more creatively. How about finding some way to affect that child in such a way that the offensive behavior will not be repeated? If you lock the child out and the child happens to find some man's house to go to on school time, because there is nobody at home to receive the child after you have locked the child out, you have done two things. You have exposed the child to the possibility of harm coming to her, and you have also denied the child the right to his or her education. So when you deny education, it doesn't solve a problem, it creates a problem.
We're really happy that the ministry took time out to come and to have town hall meetings, and we do hope that they will all be successful and that persons will heed to the cries that will be going on.
The conversations have begun, paving the way for a better understanding of the role we all play in the care and protection of our children. More community meetings are to come. But while you wait for those opportunities, be a good citizen. Report any known or suspected case of child abuse. Call the police, the Office of the Children's Registry, or the Child Development Agency. You hold the key to a safer and more secure Jamaica for our youth. Use it.